Hey everybody, it's Tracy, and this is another round with Heben and Tracy. Yay! Excitement noises. If you have been rocking with another round from the very, very first episode, first of all, bless you. Then you may remember the episode that we're about to re-air. This is actually our third episode of another round. We were babies. We were just toddlers, toddling around this dude, not knowing what anything did, just sitting down and talking. And for this episode, our guest was the lovely and talented Issa Rae, who then was just all over the internet because of our amazing web series, Awkward Black Girl. And when we interviewed her, she was in development talks with HBO for another show, which we now know is Insecure, which premieres October 9th, which is super, super soon. So to honor her and to congratulate her and to get y'all excited for the new show, we wanted to re-air our episode with her. We talked about so many things. We talked about spoken word. We talked about White J from her Awkward Black Girl series. We talked about lipstick. And we laughed a lot. We had a lot of fun. And I think that it really, really set the tone for so many of the other wonderful interviews we were able to bring to you. So this episode is from a year and a half ago. And in it, we also discuss an essay that I wrote about the time that I spent in college at a really, really, really white school. Like maybe 20 Black people, including me. So that was an experience. And we wanted to re-air this conversation because it's fall. Folks are back in school, and for a lot of freshmen of color, they may find themselves on a campus where not many people look like them, and so maybe they're going through the same things that I went through, because we all know that the more things change, the more they stay the same. So hopefully this conversation can be a little fortifying for people who find themselves in that situation. And if you're a student who's currently in that situation, it's tough. I see you. Hang in there. I did it, you can do it. And hopefully this brings you something good.
What's up, everyone? I'm Heben.
I'm Tracy.
And this is another round with Heben and Tracy.
Whoop, 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 whoop. We are so happy that you came back after the launch.
Today on the show, we're going to have Issa Rae on the freaking podcast. I'm so excited.
Issa Rae.
But first, we're going to talk a little bit about, Tracy, you've had kind of a wild week with this story you've been writing about Transylvania University and the racist frats there. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to also allow you to tell a corny joke again.
So before we go any further, I will not allow this production to go any further unless we do this. We owe our listeners a stadium full of applause and love and appreciation.
Absolutely.
Because our podcast finally launched last week after us being like, listen for the podcast. Watch out for the podcast. Podcast coming. Everybody's like, when's it coming? It's coming. You just gotta wait. And it's finally here. And we have been just overwhelmed by all the great comments and the support. Like,
I really appreciate it so much.
We've almost cried like twice today.
Literally me.
I think
every day.
one of us did cry. I'm not gonna say
it's
it.
me. It's
okay.
Heben. In case that's unclear. So, what have you been thinking about lately, Tracy?
Things have been nuts for me because I wrote an essay for BuzzFeed.com, the website, about my experience in school. If you follow me on Twitter, then I've referenced my time in school quite a few times because it left a mark, to say the very least. And some backstory. So, there was the whole SAE video thing out of the University of Oklahoma. I don't know if you're familiar.
It's impossible for me to catch up on all the racist stories.
I
actually have not heard the clip of the whatever racist frat chant they were doing.
So here's the backstory.
I assume it's bad. I don't know.
It's pretty bad.
Okay.
So a few weeks ago, a video was released that it was footage that somebody took while on a bus with SAE frat members at the University of Oklahoma. And they were just singing this delightful little racist chant. And all I remember, it was like, there will never be a nigger in SAE. Clap, clap. There will never be a nigger in SAE. Something, something.
Oh, wow.
You can something, something. You can hang from a tree, but it'll never something with me. There'll never be a nigger in SAE. See?
I didn't realize it was this bad.
Really, really bad. Really bad. And so when the SAE thing happened, I started a Twitter conversation because I wanted to know how many people were like familiar with fraternities acting this way. Because
I mean, I just assume everyone.
yeah.
Like every brown person who went to college in America.
Right.
Literally
right.
everyone.
I went to school at a school called Transylvania University in Lexington, Kentucky. Everybody loves to drop vampire jokes like, oh, did you major in blood sucking? Yeah. But there's a particular fraternity that was on campus, and it's a pretty big and well-known fraternity throughout the South. The fraternity is called Kappa Alpha Order. They list as its spiritual founder Robert E. Lee.
What is a spiritual founder? So not the person who actually did it,
Not
but
the
the
actual,
person they pretended it?
Yeah, he's just like their idol, like they're operating in the spirit of Robert E. Lee. I don't know.
Wow.
I think right.
But
like your
also,
reaction is like
I went to Stonewall Jackson High School.
amazing.
I'm used to that. I don't know.
And so the essay is just about like my experience on campus with the fraternity that like aligns itself with the Confederacy. Like there were so many Confederate flags around campus. Well, there was at least one instance where I witnessed members of the fraternity singing Dixie underneath the trees at night. One dude was wrapped in a Confederate
Absolutely
flag.
not. Did you feel like safe?
Hell no. Hell no. Like I said in the article, I was like, you think that when you're going to be living with white folks, then you'll be safe, especially when you come from the hood.
Absolutely,
like I do, right?
yeah.
I've never felt more unsafe in my life.
Wow.
Like walking down an empty street at night in the hood at home than I did like walking past people that I knew were KAs, walking past people that I saw wearing Confederate flag shirts and stuff like that. So I wrote about my experiences. It was only a sliver of my experiences, actually, because I only wrote about like my reaction to and relationship with the fraternity. But there was a lot of just wild stuff that happened, and the fallout has been so crazy.
I mean,
Absolutely
you were on
insane.
Chris Hayes, you were on Melissa Harris Perry's
Yes.
show.
So not only am I on television for the first time, I'm on national television for the first time. I was nauseous the entire weekend. Like, All In with Chris Hayes was on Friday. Melissa Harris Perry was on Sunday. And I was just like, I just hope I don't throw up.
So what's been the response to the article?
Well, I think what really made the story something that news outlets were paying attention to was Transylvania's response to my article. They sent an email to their Greek students telling them not to share it, or not to, it didn't explicitly say don't share it. It said don't comment about it on social media.
Okay.
Which, of course, is the school trying to control
So
the narrative.
just share
and
the link, but don't comment anything.
Well, the email was like, don't comment, but the sentiment is don't share it. Don't
Yeah, that's
help it gain any
wild.
traction. Yeah, it's wild, but it's also like really expected because, I mean, the reputation with any private school is their money getter. They want to welcome other students to the campus. So what's been crazy for me is the transformativeness, if that's a word, of it all.
It is. Go on, please. How were you transformed?
So when I was on campus, I was not quiet about this stuff, like, at all. And there was a good handful of students who were not quiet about it because it's just like I had a scholarship, but it wasn't a full ride. So I'm like, I'm paying you money to live and exist in a sphere where I don't feel safe or welcome. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm a very stubborn woman. I'm my mother's child. Hi, Mommy. I know you're listening. And so, I mean, we raised a lot of hell about it. We tried to raise a lot of hell about it. But, I mean, like, Tracy was so much more powerful than this small group of students was. I mean, it was like trying to push against a brick wall and get it to move, like, I mean, you're not going to do anything. So to go from that position of voicelessness and powerlessness to now being at BuzzFeed, which is more influential than the school that has like maybe 2,000 students, and like now they can't help but listen to me, It was a shock.
Oh my God.
It was
that's
such a
dope.
shock. I've been so like angry, yes, but also hurt. Like everybody always says that college is the greatest years of your life, and I have so many friends.
Those are also the people who say high school are the best years of your life.
True. But like I have a pretty good collection of friends who like they have regular like yearly meetups because they like each other so much. I'm like, what the hell? Where did you come from? How does this happen? And it hurts to not be able to look back on like my formative years and be like, yes, this was a good time. I had some good times at school, sure. Like I've met some amazing people. I've come into contact again with some classmates that I really, really liked because of the article, which is great. But I mean, overall, it was just like counting down the time to graduate. And so I graduated, and I swear to God, I moved to Philadelphia because I just needed to be around Black people.
Yeah, that's so real.
I was like, where's the Blackest place that I can go?
But even me, I went to Columbia, and it's a very predominantly white institution, but there's definitely a strong brown contingent. I remember once as the Black Students Organization, I was a part of that, of course, in college.
Of course.
And I remember once we got this, they were like, well, we have this meeting with the board of trustees with you all because we know you're dissatisfied with the state of things. I think we were at that point talking about like the protests about Trayvon Martin and like there's a bunch of stuff going on.
Being on campus and had to be crazy.
So they're like, we're going to have this meeting with the Black Students Organization. And we got there. And the board of trustees, of course, is just a bunch of white people. And there's one brown dude who like really hooks it up. He's like very involved in like our student like organizing stuff, whatever. But the rest of them were just like, you know, rich white people. Right. And me and my friends still cite this to this day. There's this one dude who is the most exaggerated version of a white person's response to racism.
Oh my gosh.
So every time we talked,
oh no. I'm so nervous.
He would be like, oh, the racism. Oh, the racism. He would just shake his head in this most dramatic way.
Did he actually say, oh, the racism?
These is literally the words that came out of his mouth. Honestly, that's why I didn't even like pay attention to the SAE clip because I just heard that guy in my head being like, oh, the racism. And I internalized that kind of dismissal. But like, how are you feeling like at the end of like all these articles and like the school's weird pushback?
Yeah.
What are your like next steps?
I've gotten a lot of emails from students who are now at the school. And this is what makes me feel good because I mean, like, even though I have like this really complicated relationship with my alma mater, I'm still a very prideful person and I'm still very protective of like what people think of the South in general
absolutely.
in Kentucky. But reading all those emails from the kids who are like, thank you so much for speaking out. Not much has changed. And now hopefully like we have a platform to be heard because I know so well what that voicelessness is like. And it's just like defeating and it just like weakens your spirit. And it took me a long time to kind of get over it. And I actually feel like I'm just now getting over it, I think. Like, having been heard by my university, I feel, I don't know if better is the right word, but I feel less angry. So, yeah, it's been a roller coaster. I don't want to just, like, walk away from the whole situation, having, like, started all this shit on campus and elsewhere. Hopefully we can help the kids. We can help the babies at Transy, and we can help the babies at other white schools. Because I mean, you know, this is not just a Transylvania thing.
Absolutely
it's not just
not.
a Southern thing or a Kentucky thing. Like it's
an Ivy League school thing too.
This is what it's like to be a person of color.
Northeast school,
listen,
California school,
damn,
all the schools,
pow. So yeah, maybe there will be another update later. But enough of that. I have an idea, Heben.
Okay,
maybe we should just hang out with Issa Rae for a while.
Yes.
Hey y'all, it's Tracy again, back in the present day. We're going to take a short break and then we'll be back with our interview with Issa Rae. Yay! This episode, we are over the moon to have with us Miss Issa Rae, who is just an all-around badass, jack of all trades.
So you probably know her from Awkward Black Girl, the web series, or Awkward Black Girl, the book. We're so excited to have you.
Yay, I'm excited to be here. You guys have such great like radio voices. It's just dawning on me now.
Thank you.
Gosh, thank you.
Okay, so we wanted to talk to you a little bit about, I mean, there's been a little moment right now where web series turned to TV show is like a real potential for well done web series, and we kind of wanted to talk to you about how you got started, like any of the roadblocks along the way, and like what the journey is like now with the HBO show.
Sure.
I kind of wanted to introduce a clip if you've been living under a rock and haven't seen the show. So just a little background. Awkward Black Girl is about Jay, this awkward black girl, and her life in this office with like people she hates, which we all know, and like dating and life. So in this clip, you are on a date with White Jay. This is the first time y'all are going out, and not only does he take you to a soul spot with fried chicken, the second event is a spoken word poetry slam.
So, I said, live today like it is tomorrow.
Rap and poetry had a baby named Spoken Word. I wish I could abort that baby.
Yet, I feel so much sorrow. but I will not borrow nor buy your excuses, nigga! Okay, I am black, bold, cute, kind, delicious, delicate. Hold up, wait a minute, don't go there because I ain't with it.
That resonates with me on so many different
Yes.
levels. So, okay,
everyone has had this moment.
this is a safe space, right? This is the three of us.
It is a safe space.
Family. So I can confess that at one point in my life, let me take a drink for a second. I will confess two things. At one point in my life, I wanted to be a poet. I'm sorry. It's safe
I'm sorry.
space.
Safe space. Sorry. I couldn't
Come
help
on.
it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
But for a very brief moment in my life, like 5 minutes maybe, I was like, maybe I can do spoken word.
Yes.
Okay, quick story. I'm just gonna share a story really, really quickly. So I'm in college, very white. I'm black as shit, right? Just like extra militant. And I have a friend who's an amazing poet. She was into the spoken word scene. I wasn't really, but I was trying, like I'm trying to find something black that I can cling to. What's blacker than spoken word when you're in the hills of Kentucky? Nothing. So I can't believe I'm telling this story. So like,
Please do continue.
I still had a perm at this point in my life, right? But I'm trying to like ethnic my hair up some. So I had like flat twists up into a ponytail. And I had on, this is when one shoulder tank tops were a very big thing.
Oh my God.
So I had on a one shoulder black tank top. Here's the most embarrassing part. I had on a cowrie shell necklace, y'all. I was trying so
Oh, why did you?
Tracy.
I was young.
hurts.
This
So
does
I was young. I knew nothing. So I'm thinking, you know what? I look good. I look spoken word as hell, right? And so we go to this coffee shop, and there's a friend of mine. She's white, and her friend was white, and her friend was like just like this young white kid, and he like keeps looking at me and giggling. He's like, hee. And later, my friend says, "Oh, he thinks you're really pretty." And I'm like, "Oh, well, thank you." And in my head, I'm like, he must be attracted to my black African womanness. These cowrie shells are working. But then she says, "Yeah, he thinks you look like one of those girls from the BET videos."
Oh, what?
That's when I said, fuck this.
What was his life?
What was my life? What was any of our lives?
But that's like that. There's an image that comes along with being like this spoken word person. Like whenever I be courted by guys, they would always assume I liked poetry or spoken word, and it would make me throw up. Like I'd be like, no, I don't. I have no interest whatsoever. Like this is lame, and I don't want to hear your poetry whispers in my ear. Like it's disgusting. And poetry, like spoken word, I don't know where it came from. Well, no, I do know where it came from. But like college, like Tracy was saying, it was all the rave. And people were just obsessed with it. And they were so fake deep. And I had great friends who were talented, but I just couldn't listen to like their intonations and their voices change. And
it's always
everybody
the
had that
same
same voice.
cadence.
Yes,
I was
exactly.
walking down the street.
And there's also that thing they do where they end the sentence with "and I." I was walking down the street and I paused to think about my life and its applications, and I.
Yes. Yes. Like, can't you just finish the sentence? You can can end it and then start a new sentence.
Right.
Like, who made the spoken word rules? Like, who set the model?
You can finish your sentences.
Yeah.
Do you watch Broad City, another web series turned show?
I love Broad City so much.
Yes, I love Broad City. There's that scene where I think it parallels your show really well, where they go to an improv show.
Oh, God.
And it's the same sort of like torture. I feel like
brilliantly done.
Yes, I feel like improv is white people's spoken word.
Yeah, that's the deepest shit I've ever heard in my life.
But I mean,
real.
shout out to the white people doing spoken word, and especially shout out to the brown people doing improv.
We believe in y'all.
We believe in y'all.
Amen.
Hold it down. Break the
So
color
how
barrier.
did your web series was so well produced for such a low budget, like surprising phenomenon?
Thank
How
you.
did you cull the resources for that? What was the like work schedule? Did you have like a 9 to 5 that you did this on the side with? If someone was trying to do something sort of similar to you, what would you want them to know?
I definitely started out with the 9 to 5, but just needed to do it. And I really called in a lot of favors, like friends who were willing to help me. And the first episode was just done with two of my friends and a camera that I owned, and I paid $25 to buy them lunch. And then as I put the show out there, then more people started reaching out, and a friend of mine who I cast, we actually used to write together in the past, and she was at school at USC, and she was saying, hey, you're getting a lot of eyeballs. You should elevate the quality. Like, I'm studying to be a producer. Let me bring in a crew. And I was like, yes, girl, please.
Yes.
And so she really helped. Around the time the 4th episode hit, we had a full crew.
Yeah, you can definitely notice the production marks increasing.
Yes. It goes from looking like a camera phone to
Yeah,
and
right.
it was great, and people were extremely dedicated to making the show the best it could be, and it really helped that the audience was excited about it too. So I guess my advice would just be to find people who are dedicated as you are to making your vision come to life, and just make sure that you have a clear vision, because there's nothing worse than someone who's like, I don't know, make it look good, I think that I knew what I wanted the show to be, and I was collaborative in a sense that I recognized other people's talents in helping to make the show way better than I could do alone by myself, and that really mattered.
Yeah, totally. Well, so for Broad City, it was the sort of like cosign of Amy Poehler in like one of their last episodes of the web series that got them the attention of like a show. Do you feel like you had sort of like a Donald Glover cameo at the end of your series? Do you think that helped a lot? I mean, you already had a rabid fan base.
I think what helped was when Pharrell actually picked us up for the second
true,
season, because then we
His
got
company's
into
I Am Other, I believe.
I Am Other, exactly. When Google funded all those channels too.
So how did that happen?
So YouTube had their 100 channels for $100 million, where they put a certain amount of millions into specific channels that they hand selected, and they were hoping to compete with television in a way over time. That didn't ultimately work out, but Pharrell was one of those channels with I Am Other, and he approached me just about how much he loved the show, how he's an awkward black guy, and how it really fit the vision. And he couldn't tell me what it was at the time, but he was like, I just really want you to be a part of it. And I was like, yes. And so, he ended up funding our second season, and that got us in Rolling Stone, and that's when Shondaland called, and they were like, hey, what are you doing with this show?
All right, talk to me about that phone call. What is a phone call from Shondaland like?
And what is Shonda like?
Yes, give us all the details.
She's just dope. She's just like I want to be her like best friend, but she's just so wise and so down to earth in a way, but like she knows her shit. Like, she is that bitch, and she doesn't act like that bitch. Like,
she knows. She just knows.
But she knows it.
See,
and that's in a way. I'm just like, I want to be you. But like, it was just a matter of a meeting. I'd actually met with her production company, with her producing partner Betsy Beers, and at the time Rachel Eggerbein, before, like, in the early stages of Awkward Black Girl, just for a general meeting. And then when that Rolling Stone article came out, that's when they called us back, and she was there, and that was just a great meeting. It was just the show I pitched was called I Hate LA Dudes, and they were talking about.
We have so many questions. We went to LA
Please ask
for
those
like
questions.
2 weeks.
It was 2 weeks.
And you were disgusted by the men.
Oh my gosh.
We
I mean,
were
the whole
just-
thing was just kind of weird. So we were mostly in Hollywood.
West Hollywood.
That's
Yes.
where our
Oh,
office
well, girl.
is.
I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, yes.
Obviously, yeah.
We tried to find other, brown people
Yeah.
in different little enclaves.
But I was very surprised at the lack of them, at least in the spaces where we were. Like, there were people who were looking at me and us like, oh my gosh, how, what, who, why does your hair go up like that? Can I touch it? It was just crazy. And I was just like, I can't imagine what dating in this city is like.
Yeah, a lot of the brown girls we talked to were like, no, this is
Yes,
this is
all
a
of them say
disaster.
no. You
They
have to
say
come out
they
here with
say
the boo.
BYOM, bring your own man.
That's the realest. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna start using that. There's just no comparison. Like, to New York, I don't know. There's just guys will still be like aggressively court you in a way that's like annoying but also romantic if you come from LA, because it's like, oh my gosh, people, I'm still desirable. But here, nobody's checking. Guys here have a mentality that you should be lucky to have them, and you should approach them, and they don't have to try as hard. And I witnessed so many of my friends, my very good friends, LA men, just like fall into that. Just be like, why would I chase a bitch when bitches chase me. And I'm like, I don't know why we're friends. That's what it is. I watched my own little brother turn into an LA man.
No.
And I was like, I know. I lost you. What happened? But what are you going to do?
So speaking of dating, I feel like a lot of people always have a lot of feelings about any sort of interracial dating subplots. So the like White Jay storyline, how do people respond to that?
Well, initially, so the way we came up with White Jay, initially he was just Jay, and he was supposed to be a black guy. And, another,
Oh, really? He was initially supposed to be a black guy?
Yes, actually. This is when we had brought in another writer, O.C. Smith. And my producer at the time, the same one that helped me get the cruise, she was just like, you know what? The show's doing well, but you needed to, you know what would make it do really well? And I was like, what? And she was like, white people. If white people watched. And I was like, well, how do we get white people to watch? And she was like, cast a white person. And I was like, oh my
The
God.
token white guy
The
on the
token
set.
white guy. And it's true. In that stupid basic mentality, like people started watching it. But initially he was just supposed to be a one-off character. Like he was supposed to be,
Interesting.
you know, he's introduced at this party and Jay and Fred gets jealous and then we move on from it. But the audience went crazy for Lyman, who plays White Jay. They were like, and they named him White Jay. They were like, White Jay, give me, yes,
Give me some White Jay.
Yes,
I mean, White
some
Jay
of
is
him.
very handsome, to his credit.
He's handsome. He's section awkward, man. No offense, Lyman, but he knows he's awkward. But that really helped. Anyway, and then later on, of course, that's when I had the sister, you a sellout and you the white devil and keep on sucking the white man's dick. It was just like everything that you could.
So intense.
It's so intense. Like even today, I just got a comment that I had to respond to. Like, okay, girl, sure.
I even see that on like pop up on like conversations about Scandal.
Yeah,
She with this white hand.
absolutely, absolutely.
Like of all the things you can criticize freaking
About
Olivia
Scandal
Pope for,
and Olivia Pope.
that's what you're gonna go for. Okay, she's also in love with a sociopathic murderer, but oh my
Right.
God, he's white. Let's
Right.
prioritize. Okay,
Right.
I see you.
That's just, you just have to choose your battles and pick your battles. But my friend and I used to always laugh about, like, when it comes to black women, we're always super excited when you see one of your own dating outside her race, because you know she tried at the end of the day. You know she tried with the brothers, and then it was just like, you know what? You deserve that. You deserve it. So it is what it is.
So now with the show with HBO, like what was that transit? How did it go from ABC to HBO, and like what happened with that conversation? How did it change?
So the ABC door closed, and you know, Sean and I, they were great about it. They were like, you know, we're gonna try again next year or anything. But then like a month later, HBO called and said, hey, we heard you're not in a deal anymore. Do you have any ideas that you want to present to us? And I've always had some trepidation about network television just because I know that they're very formulaic, and my ideal home has always been cable and HBO. And so when they called, like, I just developed a new show idea for them, and that's how that happened.
So does it have a title yet?
It's called Insecure.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
I already identify.
Yes.
I'm in.
Me IRL.
That's dope.
So can you tell us a little bit about the show?
Yeah, so it's still very much in development. The pilot was just greenlit, so we're supposed to be shooting sometime in the summer. We locked a showrunner. We're trying to get a director, but it's following my best friend and I. It's very close to my life, the trials and tribulations of dating, work, life in general as we push 30. I need to come up with a better log line, you guys.
I got you.
into it.
I'm with it. I'm
You
already
basically
with it.
just described my life. So
It's about you guys. That's what you don't know.
Ivy.
Do you have a hand in like a heavy hand in casting? Is that like a final decision goes by you for the HBO show?
Yeah, for sure. And that's so important to me because, again, a lot of these characters are based off of people in my real life. So, like, I know who each person is. And that's going to be the most fun part. Like, I'm excited to put some unknowns out there. And
Yes.
it's great. Like, I'm beyond geeked.
So is it going to be like a mostly black cast, mixed cast? Is it going to be like one of those UPN shows with the token white guy?
The way we have not even started casting yet, but the way it's written, it's mostly black. But it's mostly people of color.
Turn up.
I'm with
Yes.
that. If
Yes.
you would happen to need two
Two
Afro black
extras
girls
just in the
Girl,
back
come
partying.
to LA,
who can
for
barely
real.
act.
We can
We can
barely
stand around
act.
in the background.
Can you do spoken word? Can you
Oh,
do
Oh my
absolutely.
The cowrie
goodness. Can I do
shells?
spoken word is the question that was put to me, and I paused for just a second and I considered my life experiences and my flows and my feelings and I to answer your question.
You know what? I changed my mind. I actually don't want you in the show anymore. No, thank you.
Oh my goodness. I have some very, very random rapid fire questions that I
Okay.
pulled out of the air strictly. I just like to get a feel for who people are.
Yeah.
you know,
Random
Okay.
questions.
Your
I'm here for
quirks and stuff. Number one, how do you feel about squirrels?
We used to have these black squirrels on campus, and so I just think about I think they're deceptive and they have ninja like qualities.
Yes, right
and
answer.
Rabbit, thank you.
You did good. You did
Thank you.
good. We need to have a hall of fame of people who are so
Are on the
woke
right side
when
of
it comes
history
to
about squirrels.
Yes.
Where did that come from? I'm sorry. Please continue.
I just don't trust them. Fuck them. What are you doing? Get out of my face.
I agree. No one
Exactly.
disagrees.
Also, why don't they hibernate?
They're like land pigeons.
Land pigeons. But you know how I feel about pigeons, though. I feel like pigeons get a bad rap. I feel like pigeons are the
Oh.
black man of the bird world.
I say that too, though.
Are you kidding?
And,
Because if they
and,
were white, they would be doves.
would.
Everybody loves doves.
I feel like
So
I
don't
say
know.
You
that
know what?
like
I will allow that.
it's true. I say that pigeons and rats are like the blacks and Mexicans of the PETA justice system. Like PETA does not give a fuck about rats and squirrels at all.
So if you're listening, we just became best friends. I don't know if you're aware. It just happened. Okay, what is your favorite song from the 90s?
Ooh, girl. The first one that came to mind is Joe's "All the Things Your Man."
Oh my gosh.
What?
Okay.
Honestly,
Okay.
That was just, I love that song. And I didn't know what "Take Me to the Subway, I'll Go Down" meant until I was older.
Yo, it's so crazy when you start singing songs you used to sing when you was little and you're
I
like,
know.
oh my God, Too Close by Next.
Oh my gosh. That song is so gross.
An entire song about erections.
Yeah.
And we just like,
Yes.
kind of just 8, 9, 10, however I was. Didn't
Yeah.
have
Yep.
any business.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you karaoke? And if so, what are your staple songs that you sing?
I actually hate, don't stone me, but I hate karaoke. I do.
Low key, I feel the same, but I do
Thank
it anyway
you.
because my friends love it, and I'm like, okay, I'll support you in your
It's
interests and
true.
hobbies.
Why
Well,
do you
we
hate
did I
karaoke?
had a bad karaoke experience. Like my friends and I
Ooh,
went on
do
a
tell. I'm
my
sorry.
friends and I went on a cruise, and there were 3 of us, and "Soldier" by Destiny's Child had just come out.
Ooh.
And we decided to perform it, but the cruise was mostly old and white, and they just were not feeling us, and they didn't get into it, and that just killed my spirit. I was like, well, fuck y'all, if you don't know who Destiny's Child is and you can't appreciate such a
Absolutely.
that it
You
is what it, I
cannot
don't.
let old white people steal your joy, girl.
I know,
You can't
but
let
then
them have that.
but then someone who can really sing always gets up and does karaoke, and that's
Yeah.
that's not fair.
Those people
Always
I
the
don't
ones
appreciate.
inviting you. It's like you can't
Exactly.
do that if you can low key sing.
It's the people with the
Exactly.
really nice voices and the people who only want to do sad songs. Like,
Oh
listen,
my
it's
God.
Friday. I got some Henny in my cup. I don't want to listen to you sing Jewel right now. I love Jewel, but not on the weekends.
No Jewel on the weekends.
No shade, Jewel. We love you, but just Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. only. Okay, one more question. So you are obviously, nobody would disagree that you are consistently fly as fuck.
Yes.
What?
And we
Facts. Facts on facts.
we love how into bright, bold lipsticks you are.
Yes.
Ooh.
Do you have a favorite shade or a favorite brand? Where can I find it? Is it more than $10? Because if so, gotta check my account.
I wish I were better at this. Now you're going to have me pull out my purse, but I definitely love this L'Oreal type. Let me find it right now that
love
I'm
that
wearing
you
right
said
now. It's just
L'Oreal.
called Endless Red. But it's it paints on your lips and it stays because I eat.
Ooh. Is it like a matte?
Listen,
Yes. And it's just, I don't know, it's just smooth and it doesn't affect my eating time. And that's the most important.
Okay,
I don't like to
dope.
eat and then, where'd my lipstick go?
Yeah.
I love your priorities right now.
Yes,
This
exactly.
shade is dope, but can I eat in it?
Yes.
Yes.
Only question that matters.
This was fantastic.
Oh,
I
we had
wish
so
we
much
had like
fun.
3
Thank you,
more
ladies.
hours.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much for joining
Issa
us.
Rae, ladies
Thank
and gentlemen.
you.
Woo! Thank you.
All right. So
Okay.
a lot of people tweeted at me like, let Tracy tell her jokes. And I was like, I can't believe you guys think I can stop
the real
Tracy
MVPs.
from telling
Y'all
her
are the
jokes.
real MVPs.
There's no stopping Tracy from telling her jokes. But also I'm very here for her Tracy's jokes. So
Listen, I'm ecstatic. There's no possible way I can tell a joke on every episode because I'd be out of jokes by like June. And then we'd all just be sad.
but every once in a while, Tracy's gonna tell a joke.
I got a joke.
Oh yeah. Please.
Oh my God.
Let the people hear a joke, Tracy.
It's one of my favorites.
Okay.
All right, let me get in my space. Let me get in my zone.
Tracy's in her joke zone.
Tracy's joke time. Gonna tell a joke.
One thing
Make
we've
some people
realized
laugh.
is that
Make some people
all
mad.